My name is Harry, and I'm from London.
Meghan Markle here.
Okay, today is January 22nd, 2022. It is 5:46 a.m. This is video number 2. Video number 1 is on the Pure YTE channel. And this was the last prayer that I read. And now I'm going to do this video for APTS Team Sussex. Let's go on Twitter, see what's going on. That was my last tweet. All right, this is my first tweet for this video. Okay, the right-wing press is guilty of hypocrisy on Harry and Meghan's, quote, tax haven. When I saw this, I wasn't sure if I should read the article. So, I don't know. Let me read some of the comment and see what it said. And then if I do go in it, I'll share the link with you. Okay, the RW media cannot control Harry and Meghan the way they do the royal family. Rupert Murdoch and the Daily Mail are squeezing the royal ball by sitting on their scandal that could bring down the House of Windsor. Harry is not dropping his phone hacking lawsuit against Murdoch. Oh, so does that have to do with that? Let's see here. Proprietor of the Daily Mail, Jonathan Hemsworth, 4th Viscount Rothermere, pays no UK tax and £1 billion fortune. The tax avoiding purposes. Tory boy Jonathan is French. He inherited his title and a controlling stake and this lying rag from his father. Okay, nice for a family you've got there. Shame if anything were to happen to it. All right, what is that? Reveals Queen's private estate invested millions of pounds offshore. Paradise Papers leak reveal Duchy of Lancaster put money into retailer criticizing for exploiting poor family. All right, Harry Osborn. I'm wondering if this is that Harry Osborn is related to the Osborn, you know, the musician who used to have that MTV show. That was in 2017. She corrects something. Touche to the author, showing up the unconscionable allegation the Sussexes were using a tax haven. Delaware, a tax haven, my ass. It's admirable that Harry and Meghan separated his or hers income and taxes. A lesson learned that the Daily Mail is finally challenging with facts by fellow scripts. Okay, there's a video that I did. A lot of the squads, when they first came across my channel, all right, were bashing me for it. And in that video, I talk about Harry's status. Okay, and you know, just questions that were popping up in my mind. That was at the beginning of my channel. I wanted to know things that I saw could potentially come forward. This will relate to that. Go see that that video. It's just, I don't even remember what I said in it, but that came to mind. All right, let's see here. It's such nonsense. There is no tax haven in the U.S. I'm an expat and have to report income I earn outside the U.S. Uncle Sam get his money no matter what. Yep. Okay, look what's happening to Trump. All right, all this nonsense he was doing, and then through AOC, and one of my videos I spoke about that, why election is important. If the people did not vote for AOC, and then for AOC to use her position to question, what's his name, Michael Cohen, about Trump's business dealing. All right, this thing will not have come out of Michael Cohen. And then for the New York AG to investigate what Michael Cohen have said, and then what did they find? There's a lot of wrongdoing that was going on. Okay, so voting is important. And then in the U.S., they will find that if they know, they're going to make sure you pay. They're going to make sure you pay. That's one thing the U.S., well, there's a lot of things. The dog and children, they don't mess. But their tax is another thing. You must pay your tax. Even though this is why a lot of business people are paying, supporting Republican to make sure there's a certain deal that happened in the law so they don't pay tax. This is how the rich people deal with that. All right, they support certain groups to make sure when they're in office, to make sure they're exempt for something like that. But if they don't follow the rules, hey, they're gonna go after them. Yeah, in the U.S. there's no tax haven, but the law put a lot of things into the books for those rich people to be exempt, this kind of thing. And then when you look at, I think I spoke about this in some shape or form in some videos, where they're calling poor people entitled because they want, let's say, food stamp or government help and all of that. And I'd be like, no, okay, they deserve this the same way. They just name it differently. For the rich people, they claim they're just exempt. But it's almost the same thing as any poor people is going online to get food stamp, get government help and all of that. Okay, it's the same thing. But the rich people, when they're going after money, when they're stealing, they steal by million. When the poor people are stealing, they steal by pennies. Okay, so it's the same thing is playing out. You guys need to understand the position of things, and then when people are calling you name, just know they're doing the same thing but in a different way. All right, let's see here. It's such nonsense. There is no tax haven. Okay, I read that. The article is well written and researched, and I'm grateful the hypocrisy is being called out inside the UK. However, looks like the author couldn't restrain his inner Karen and had to include something. I just sneeze. Okay, let's see here. However, looks like the author couldn't restrain his inner Karen and had to include something rude and derogatory about Harry and Meghan at the end of it. All right. I took it as pure sarcasm, like go back to the BS criticism. You already spew and complain about the kind of things. All right, so let me go into it. Thank you for this article. All right, so let's go into it. And I'll leave the link in the description. Do I have to pay for it? All right. The right-wing press is guilty of hypocrisy on Harry and Meghan's tax haven. Anyone having a pop of the Sussexes for forming companies in Delaware might want to check their own accounts. By the Chatterer. Okay, let's see here. Many of the UK best-selling newspaper expressed concern this week that Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, have set up a series of companies in the quote tax haven end quote of Delaware in the US. The story appears to have been broken by the Daily Mail and then picked up by the Time, the Sun, the Telegraph, and the Spectator. They're all of one, okay? They're all the same. Spectator, all of which clutch their pearls at the idea that the Sussexes could be perpetrating a quote tax wheeze end quote, while also publicly having opinion about things like racism and climate change. Nigel Farage has held forth on the subject of GB News. This is the channel that trying to get rid of BBC. All right, so I talk about it in some tweet. But obviously, the Chatterer hasn't watched this because life's too short to spend time on the televisual equivalent of an airport Witherspoons. But are Harry and Meghan really dodging their tax? Or are some publishers themselves not shy of spot of public moralizing, taking still greater measure to keep their profit out of state coffers? The Time and the Sun, for example, both of which wonder aloud why the Sussexes will incorporate in Delaware when they live and work in California. I think I touched bases on that in that status video. I think, because I look into all of this. You guys should check that video. All of my old videos, when I first started the research videos or whatever it is, where I'm asking myself questions, or some good videos to go revisit, okay, like it has been done before, where I talk about the ardent production and all of this. Go back to this. That's where I was educating myself to see where these people were coming from. Okay, so let's go here. Are owned by News Corporation according to the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission that's incorporated in, oh, surely not Delaware. The important things to understand about Delaware and tax haven in general is that they only work for foreign money, for people living and earning their money in the U.S., such as Harry, Meghan, or the good people of News Corporation, and cooperating in Delaware does not get you out of the paying tax. Reporting requirement. I think when I was reading it, the reason that they filed it over there, there were some sort of a less restriction of doing the paperwork or something like that. I forgot what I read on it, but there was a reason why they did that. All right, because when they file it some other places, there's too many roadblocks. All right, so Delaware sort of make it much easier for them. From if my memory served me well, but go look at that video of Harry's status, I think it is. I know I covered this already, and I got a lot of backlash from the squad. We're saying, how is it my business? Leave them alone. They're already going through all of that. All the comment is still there. You could check the comments. Because I felt like it was something to move forward. Because when Harry was leaving, he said the U.S. will be his, the U.K. will always be his home.
The UK is my home and a place that I love. That will never change. I will always have the utmost respect for my grandmother, my commander-in-chief, and I'm incredibly grateful to her and the rest of my family for the support they have shown Meghan and I over the last few months. I will continue to be the same man who holds his country dear and dedicates his life to supporting the causes, charities and military communities that are so important to me.
And things like that. And I was looking at his status when he's creating Archwell, how this is gonna be playing out. And I believe this is why when he does his book, his the money that the book made, he said he's gonna donate it to charity. Guess what? His organization could be part of that deal too. But him personally, it's not going in there. Okay, because as a foreigner, he will have to pay a lot of taxes, both the UK, the US, and every place else that he is associated, from what I understand when I was reading the stuff. And this is why I had to do the research to find out. My mind was asking questions, and now they're coming up again from other people, but I sort of have an idea already. Okay, Delaware is where almost all small businesses and at least half of the larger businesses in America incorporate because it has laws and large professional services industry that make incorporation easy. You see, this is what I learned. I was right. It's much easier for them. There's less roadblock for them to create the business. But if they go to another state, there's always a lot of rules, regulation, and all of that. Delaware makes it easy for them. Okay, there it is. So I was right. Okay, it is just the default choice for company information in the US. A more worrying indication of tax avoidance would be if the Sussexes live in the US and incorporated their company offshore in, say, Bermuda or Jersey, both of which are, unlike Delaware, on the EU, European Union, watch list for non-cooperation and tax reporting. Okay, the Daily Mail, which worry that the quote implicated structure and quote of the Sussex businesses showed that quote Meghan planned to keep her and Harry's business as opaque as possible and quote is owned by Daily Mail General Trust, which was until 2020 owned by a holding company called Wathersmer's Continuation Limited, which was incorporated in Bermuda. Okay, so they're pointing finger at Harry and Meghan, but theirs is something else. This was renamed Wathersmer's Continuation Old Company Limited and bought by a new Wathersmer's Continuation Limited, which was incorporated in Jersey. Did someone say complicated structure? Anyone outraged by the idea of someone setting up 11 companies in Delaware will go into absolute conniption when they read DMGT. Okay, I don't know what that stands for. Oh, there's a 2021 annual report which listed holding and 16 Delaware incorporated. Wow, companies of which 8 are 100% owned by DMGT. So that's this thing here. I'll click on it so you guys could see. Thank God there's another thing. What is this? Okay, welcome to the annual report 2021. Okay, so I'll leave that for you. You guys go look. Oh shit. That's Wathersmer's business. Oh, that's for you guys to see. I'm not going to go through all of this. All right. So he did his homework. Okay, so you guys could go and look, because they're into Harry and Meghan's business, so you could go and look into that. Anything that I click in, even if I don't read them in the video, but you could check the description. All right, all of them will be in the description for you. Okay, which is listed holding in 16 Delaware incorporated companies, of which 8 100% owned by DMGT. Another little treat for DMGT 2021 annual report, I think is the same thing here, is a footnote on page 82, which notes how much tax DMGT saved through group financing exemption. Okay, let's see, is that the same thing? Let's see. There's another thing here. All this is going to be in the description, tax journal. I could read this on my own. Okay, a rule introduced by the conservative government in 2013 that allowed the MGT to finance its U.S. cooperation through a Luxembourg resident finance company up to 2018. This exemption was declared illegal. Okay, there's a link also. Again, all of this is going to be for you. Okay, maybe I'll create another video for that, but not in this video. This exemption was declared illegal state aid by the EU. Okay, that's European Union, and the MGT may have to pay back up to £7.4 million in tax benefit. It is appealing the EU's decision. No wonder why they had to get out of the EU, because the EU was not playing with them. They're trying to dodge taxes. Oh my God, this person did his homework, like some of the comments say. Finally, there are the Telegraph and the Spectator, both of which fretted over Hasmag's Delaware Incorporation. Both companies' most recent full account give their ultimate honor as May Corporation, which is incorporated in sunny, tax-efficient Jersey. May Corporation is ultimately owned by Frederick Barclay, whose other businesses have included the Ritz Hotel, which pay no corporation tax for 17 years. All right, let me click on it. You guys could read it yourself. Okay. Okay, where is it? Ritz Hotel. Where was that? Corporation tax for 17 years while Barclay owned. Barclay also bought Little Woods with his brother in 2002 for £750 million, then tried to extract £1.25 billion from HMRC by claiming compound interest on historical overpay VAT. Fred lives in a castle on the private island of, where's that? Brecqhou. Okay, that's the first time I'm hearing this, which he also owns and which imposes no direct tax on residents. All right, again, for you to read. I'm clicking on them, but for you to read. Okay, if you do own your own tax haven and will still like to have a pop of the Sussexes, don't let the chatter stop you, but maybe just stick to writing about their Vapid podcast or Meghan's awful book. All right, so yeah, now I see. That was a sarcasm, because they keep on saying how bad everything Meghan and Harry does. So he's like, mind your own business before you start talking about them. Keep on writing your nonsense. But this is not the way you want to go. And as I was reading, one of the things that came to mind is that this is where you have squatties everywhere. This person might be a squatty and trying to say, look, don't mess with our Sussexes, okay? Look at your own spot and, you know, instead of pointing fingers. All right, so with that being said, let me go to the next tweet, okay? So this one was a good one. After I read some of the comment here, I realized it was pretty good. But I'm not going to read any more comment. Next tweet, okay? Don't say you weren't warned. Okay, Yorkshire water lets untreated sewage spill into designated river bathing spot. All right, this is too small. I don't think I could. Oh, I could read it. It's pretty big. On my phone, it was small. All right, so sewage water is going into things that where people will have fun. And this is why sometimes when I'm talking about the Brexit, people claiming Brexit is good and all of that. And I was like, yeah, it's good. There's sewage in your water, okay? Shit in your water. I think that's the way I usually put it. But there's another one here. Let me read this one since I could read it. I could see the font. First bathing spot, too dirty for a swim. Okay, by Ritz Blakely, science correspondent. Okay. The first stretch of river in England to be recognized as a designated bathing spot is often too contaminated to swim in safely, according to the first official report on the water quality. And I see the same playbook as the Republican did in, I think, Florida. All right, they want people to get those businesses who supposed to treat those waters. All right, they want blind eye people to be in office to turn blind eye for not doing the work that they're getting their taxpayers' money for. So this is the same thing that is being played here. But for some reason, people are too blind with hate. Hey, they rather swim in shady water than seeing the truth, what's going on. All right, so that's their problem. Let me just read. A mile-long section of the River Wath in Brecqhou, West Yorkshire, was recognized as a bathing site by the Department of Environment, Food and Rural Affairs in 2020. However, monitoring by the Environment Agency has revealed high concentration of fecal bacteria, which can make people ill. They appear to be linked to frequent spill of untreated waste from the sewage system run by Yorkshire Water. The Ilk bathing site is enormous, popular with, quote, wild swimmers, end quote, and families with more than 1,700 people bathing, paddling, and sitting on its shingle banks on the busiest days of summer. Testing by the Environment Agency shows that level of potential dangerous bacteria frequently breach safety threshold, and the water quality was rated, quote, poor, end quote. At the main testing spot, levels of E. coli were more than 11 times the safe limit. Level of enterococci also exceeded the threshold for much of July. A small distance of downstream E. coli level were unsafe for all of the official bathing season, which ran from May 15 to September 30th. Professor Rick Batherby of University College London, who has performed similar tests for the local campaigners, said, quote, "This is entirely as expected and in accordance with our own citizen science data showing high concentration of fecal bacteria at the bathing water site," end quote. The high levels are associated with upstream spill of untreated effluents from outlet known as combined sewage overflow and from inwash from agricultural land, he said. A short period of time of being out of the EU, this is the thing that they're causing. Because when they were within the EU, there were laws and regulations they were supposed to follow. And then when something happened, let's say there was something that I read, like for infrastructure, things that need to be built and all of that, they get those money. The EU pay for that because you were part of the EU. And I think there were, which article that I was reading where EU funded some stadium or something for one of those EU countries to build. They were profiting from it as a whole. And then if you, if you subscribe to Byline YouTube channel, there's some new stuff that they be talking about how some businesses are dealing with some issues since they've been out of EU. All right, so hey, they wanted out. This is what happened. They wanted to take care of their own, to deal things on their own. There it is. Those people in power, they want to do the work. They didn't want to do the work to keep people safe. But there it is. They just want to grab money, put in their pocket, and then the people are suffering. And at the same time, when you look at it as a broader picture, as much as I hate to say it, because there are some good Brits over there who were against all of that, but they voted for this, okay? They voted for it when, in fact, all professionals were saying it's a bad idea, okay? Why? Those people were pushing, the people in power were pushing for that because they benefit from it. They were in power for that. All right, they will benefit from it. So while they're there, they took advantage of it. But too bad the other people didn't see it. They were thinking it was the best idea ever. They could take care of their own this, and keep an eye on the court. All right, I've said this before. One of the main reasons for getting out of the EU was the court system. All right, keep an eye on that. And I still believe in that. Campaigners believe that the Ilkley contamination is often a result of rainfall overwhelming a sewage pumping station a few miles upstream run by Yorkshire Water, causing it to spill untreated effluent into the river. There is also a treatment work in Ilkley itself, between the two sites where the water quality is tested. Last year, the Time reported that between July 2019 and June 2020, it had spilled a blend of rainwater and untreated waste into the river Wharf for 2,200 hours. Wow. Yorkshire Water said it planned to invest, quote, up to £13 million, end quote, and the wastewater network and treatment works upstream of the bathing site to help to improve water quality. Rebecca Powell, the environment minister, said, quote, while a bathing designation is an important first step toward longer-term water quality improvement, it will take time to identify how to meet the required bathing water standard alongside the financial investment and cooperate needed to make it happen, end quote. But I don't know. This was a screenshot, so there's no link to it. So since I was able to see it, that's why I share it. So there's no link for me to share with you on that. Did I read some of the comments under it? Okay, let's see here. It's Yorkshire Water in my area. I had no idea there was sewage leak. I've been paddling with my grandchild during the summer holiday. That can happen now. Disgusting. All right, there it is. I don't think, in my humble opinion, because I'm not over there, those BBC, those news outlets on TV are sharing those information. If you're not on Twitter, you won't know this. There's real journalists, who's doing the work, putting the word out there, but the people, the mouthpiece, they rather bombard you with Harry and Meghan kind of stuff to disturb people's peaceful, all right, peace of mind. A good bathing spot is hard to find. Sorry. Okay, people's laughing. She put the music thing. Okay, is this related to the ill dogs from going to the beach and the fishermen in Yorkshire who say all the sea is now dead? Okay, as a Yorkshire lad, me and my family regularly picnic beside the river, wharf, and bathe in it. Now you know. Now experience I recommend to my grandkids today. Okay, there's even sign and everything. Okay, so people's saying, what did that say? Let's see if I could see it. Important information, bathing is not advised past this point as the water quality is not monitored. Sewage outfalls may be in the operation in this area. They put note is up to you. But the whole thing is they didn't have this problem before. But for some reason, people, the hate that's over there that fills so many people in the UK, rather have this than to accept a biracial woman. Can you imagine this thing? All right, let me do this, what's on the screen, and then that's it. Okay, dogs vomiting and diarrhea after walking on Yorkshire's coast. One woman said her dog was still ill after a walk in the coast in the Boxing Day. Oh, okay. Where they were trying to blindside people. Meghan's winning the court victory thing. That's when that day, that time. They get fined, but who in the end pay the fine? We do. They should find the directors and ensure it comes out of their salary. Maybe they will be more vigilant in the future. Again, all this comes to you guys, the voters. You guys keep on voting them in. And then now you're saying they should, I don't know, they shouldn't have been in that position in the first place. Okay, Figo, do you blame the water company or government who privatize and regulate them? Okay, all of the above. All right, and this is the last thing. Fresthorpe Beach and East Riding, Bredlington and Redcar Beach, but the British Veterinary Association BVA confirmed there have been further reports of the mystery illness from vets, quote, who are really far inland, and quote, adding they are also seeing an increase in these kinds of cases in dogs that have never been to the beach. One worried pet owner shared her, quote, heartbreaking and quote, experience of the unknown illness on Facebook. Writing, quote, Sunday we took my dog Copper to Fresthorpe Beach, and ever since he's had sickness and diarrhea in the last 24 hours, unable to keep water down. But with that being said, that's all I have. Let's do a prayer. In my last video, I said, let the blind see. So let's pick this one. What does this say? Their minds were blind, for until this day, the same veil remained unlifted in the reading of the Old Testament, because the veil is taken away in Christ. They were blind. Let's see here. Let's see this one. Okay. but the one who hates his brother is in the darkness and walks in the darkness. He does not know where he is going because the darkness has blinded his eyes. I think this fits perfectly. All right, so that's it. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. If you are new to this channel, I have another main channel that I talk about the Sussexes. It's Pure YTE channel. I would suggest you go and subscribe as well. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. If you want to help support this channel, there's a PayPal link in the description. You could donate or just watch the commercials. That's it. Thanks for your support.
It is a great privilege to be with all of you today.
You know, we ask for forgiveness and please come back.
Find the love and happiness that I'd hoped for all my life. You are all in this together, and if I may speak personally, we are all in this together, because asking for help was one of the best decisions that I ever made. You will be continually amazed how life changes for the better.
Harry, sit down. Just sit. Just sit. Harry, sit down. Just sit. Just sit.